Give it to us. I know you made the list. Let's start with number 5.
All right, the Chicago Bears have to protect Caleb Williams. Invest in the draft and in free agency in offensive line. Took the most sacks in the NFL last year. As I said earlier, geography is destiny for quarterbacks. The Chicago Bears have to keep him upright. He holds on to the ball too long, but that's just him. That's just the way he plays. He wants to bounce back and forth, find his own rhythm back there. I'm good with that. You've got to give him a fighting chance. To me, it's investing in offensive line.
Okay, that's number 5. What about number 4?
Big swings for pass rushers. Star pass rushers, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett level guys for the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. These are two teams that are absolutely in a mud fight right now for that division. That division is stacked right now. And if you go out and get a Max Crosby, that swings the entire thing. I think the Detroit Lions here, for me, are the favorite because they understand the Super Bowl window. I think they understand how important that for that city Super Bowl would be. They go out and get a big man.
We just found out that you just can't outscore everybody.
Yep.
Number 3.
All right, so the Cincinnati Bengals have to retain. We've been talking about this like 5 times on this show.
All day.
They got to retain T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. You understand, Harry, how important the wide receiver position is. But to Joe Burrow, vision is his superpower. Getting guys out into routes is his superpower. And T. Higgins uses his length better than basically any receiver in football. He understands how to play big boy football. Jamar Chase gets open anywhere on the field, has this incredible catch radius. Joe Burrow deserves a Super Bowl, and these guys have to be there now for a long time.
Joe Burrow talked about it at the Super Bowl, even altering his contract to make that happen. Okay, number 2.
Left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
Every single year, it's a new name. Every single year. There has to be stability at that position. Patrick Mahomes was getting rocked in the Super Bowl because the Eagles' defensive line, with no blitzes, 0 blitzes, the Eagles' defensive line was bullying that Chiefs team. It was unbelievable. It was players, not plays for the Eagles, and that to me is an indictment of what the Chiefs have on the outside. Tackles. Inside was fine, interior offensive line, outside tackles, fix it.
Okay, so then to get to the number 1 thing Kevin says needs to happen this offseason.
The New York Giants should take control of their destiny at the quarterback position, trade up Cam Ward. They've got to figure out, you cannot, I was at this game, by the way, you might be able to see me in that crowd of orange and green. No, let's not worry about that right now. But here's the deal. They have been treading water with Daniel Jones for, 6 years? They have never settled at the quarterback position. They need their Eli Manning. They need a guy where you say, you know what? It's the next 15 years. It's an alpha. It's a culture changer. It's a guy who's going to be doing the workouts in June and April and doing all these things that set the foundation for your franchise. That, to me, is Cam Ward. It's a 2-quarterback draft. You're picking 3. Go take control of your destiny.
Is he the next Eli Manning you're talking about, Cam Ward?
I think he's the guy that comes in, understands what the New York Giants need as a franchise. And from a playing style, they're very different. But I think maybe a Jordan Love comp would be a little bit better. Even some Baker Mayfield in there. But from what I've seen of Cam Ward, I think he's the guy that saves that franchise. Good quarterbacks don't wait. They accelerate the timeline. That's the most important thing to me. Look at Jaden Daniels. Look at C.J. Stroud. They accelerate the entire franchise's timeline. Cam Ward, to me, in this draft, is that guy. He saves the Giants franchise.
Okay, let's bring in Tim Hasselbeck. Tim, your thoughts not only on the list, but number 1, he says the Giants need to trade up and go get Cam Ward.
First, I think it's a good list. I think sometimes it's easy to look at things and say, well, I don't think it makes sense. I think it's a good list. In terms of trading up, look, I think as we sit here in February and we say, all right, the Giants are 3, there's 2 quarterbacks, like you have to move up. That makes me a little anxious just because like the price tag to move up, early in the draft seems to be out of whack for me. When you just look at what people have done in past drafts, the amount of draft equity just to move a few spots at the top of the draft. So, that would be my hesitation to it. In regards to the Giants needing a quarterback, needing to reset at the position, I completely agree with that. I thought Daniel Jones was the big winner of last year's draft when the Giants didn't get involved at quarterback. So I think it's overdue. I think they do need to do something at the position to change things. I don't know, because of the teams that are picking before them, that they'll have to move. And because of the price tag, I don't know that they'll have to. Like, there's other good prospects coming, and there isn't a total, I think slam dunk that a quarterback will be taken at the very top. So I think you have to be patient with that. That being said, I do think Cam Ward, I would agree with Kevin there, I do think Cam Ward ends up being a great fit for New York.
Okay, so what do you think about the list, and what do you think about Cam Ward? Because there's also Shedeur Sanders out there.
Yeah, so I'll move here first. I'll start with the New York Giants. I think when it comes to Joe Shane and also Brian Dable, where do you have Shedeur Sanders and also Cam Ward on your draft board? If you have one higher than the other one, and if you prefer one or the other, and that matters in this situation. Also, when the Giants are sitting at 3, when you have generational players like Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter, you might not have to move up. right? We all believe, well, I frankly believe that Tennessee Titans should take a quarterback number one overall, but that's not necessarily what they're going to do. We don't know that. They might take Travis Hunter. When you look at the Cleveland Browns, what if they trade Myles Garrett? Right now, in my mind, I'm thinking that they're going to draft Abdul Carter, a guy to replace Myles Garrett and use draft collateral probably later on in future years to find their quarterback. So all type of things have to fall in place. But I do believe the Giants are in a prime position at 3 to where they don't have to trade up. Now, it's all about where they have these 2 players rated. Now, I want to go to the number 4 on your list right here. For Green Bay, I think them being able to trade for or getting a true number 1 wide receiver and then drafting a pass rusher, I think that's the ideal situation for them. For the Detroit Lions, if you go get a Myles Garrett, I don't mind penciling those guys in when it comes to the Super Bowl.
I think the problem for me is who's the number 1 receiver that might be on the market? Who's the number 1 receiver who's trying to force a trade?
Chiefs Kingdom, we need to talk about something serious. Justin Reed. If Kansas City wants to keep its defense elite in 2025, they cannot afford to lose him. Simple as that. Think about it. Reed has been a rock for this defense since he arrived in 2022. He's not just another player. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, a leader on the field, and a guy who brings both physicality and intelligence to the secondary. Losing him wouldn't just be a roster move, it could shake the entire defense. So, here's the big question. Should the Chiefs do whatever it takes to keep him? Drop a comment below. Let's see where the fan base stands on this. And if you're not convinced yet, don't worry. Up next, we're diving into the numbers. And trust me, they tell the full story of why Reed is absolutely irreplaceable. Alright, let's break this down with cold, hard facts. If you're still on the fence about Reed's impact, these numbers should clear things up. Since joining the Chiefs in 2022, Reed has racked up 265 total tackles with 194 solo stops, 4 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 23 passes defended. That's not just solid, that's elite level production for a safety. His ability to read offenses, make open field tackles, and shut down passing lanes is a huge reason why Kansas City's defense has been a top 10 unit in 2 of the last 3 seasons. And let's be real, stats are one thing, but the game-changing moments matter just as much. How many times have we seen Reed make a clutch stop on 3rd down or deliver a big hit that swings momentum? So here's a question for you. What's your favorite Justin Reed moment in a Chiefs uniform? Drop it in the comments. Now, some might argue that the Chiefs already have a replacement lined up, but is Jaden Hicks really ready to take over? Let's talk about that next. All right, let's talk about the big what if. What if the Chiefs don't re-sign Justin Reed? Do they already have his replacement on the roster? Enter Jaden Hicks, Kansas City's 4th round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. He had a solid rookie season, racking up 29 total tackles with 23 solo stops. Not bad, right? But here's the thing, he's not Justin Reed, not yet. Hicks has shown flashes of potential, but stepping into a starting role and leading this defense, that's a whole different challenge. Experience matters, and losing a veteran like Reed would put a huge amount of pressure on Hicks to develop fast. So let's settle this with a vote. Do you think Hicks is ready to take over? Or do the Chiefs need to keep Reed at all costs? Vote in the comments. Of course, even if the Chiefs want to keep Reed, there's still one major obstacle: money. Can they afford him? Let's break it down next. Here's where things get tricky. Keeping Justin Reed isn't just about wanting him back, it's about affording him. In 2024, Reed made $10.5 million, but now he's looking at an even bigger payday. According to projections, he could demand the biggest contract of his career, and the Chiefs have to decide if they can make it work within their salary cap. So, is he worth it? Well, let's look at the facts. With Reed, Kansas City's defense has been ranked in the top 10 in 2 of the last 3 seasons. That's not a coincidence. Safeties who can hit, cover, and lead a defense don't come cheap, and replacing him with an unproven player could set the team back. But what do you think? Now, should the Chiefs pay up and lock in Reed, or should they let him walk and use that money elsewhere? Vote in the comments. And if they don't re-sign him, well, that could change everything. Let's talk about that next. So, what happens if the Chiefs don't bring Justin Reed back? Let's be honest, it wouldn't be pretty. Losing a veteran leader in the secondary could shake up the entire defense. Sure, Jaden Hicks has potential, and the Chiefs could look to free agency or the NFL draft for reinforcements, but replacing Reed's experience and leadership? That's not easy. And here's the real concern. Would this defense still be top tier without him? Kansas City has built a championship caliber unit, and keeping it intact should be a priority. So now the decision is on Brett Veach and the Chiefs' front office. What will they do? Will they make the move to keep Reed, or will they take the risk of letting him walk? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay updated on everything Chiefs, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Big moves are coming.